item 14, so this is the public side of the Christchurch Foundation report. Linda, do you want to add anything, or are you happy for Humphrey and Amy to talk through it?
Linda should set the scene, really.
Thanks, Linda.
Great.
It's obviously our report for the third quarter of this financial year. I was happy to answer any questions that you may have. I think the key thing to note is that you need to push out operations from funds raised, because they're two quite different items, and what we've done in our reporting to make that clearer for you is to separate those two. So you'll see a consolidated page and then an operations budget, which for good reason you'll be interested in, which is on the last page, which shows how we fund, how we operate, including contributions from other donors and partners and pro bono services as well.
Yanni?
Yeah. Staff, in terms of the report, can we get a copy of the proposed budget for what was spent last year, or what was asked for and what was agreed for last year and for the year coming up? Because I found it a bit tricky in this report to actually see that transparency of that process.
Page 8 shows you that. It shows you the year to date, the 11 months.
So the agreement, my understanding is that we were funded for up to $600,000 on a 3-year term, which finished as of the 30th of June this year, and that there was a right of renewal for a further 3 years at that level and a formal review process to be undertaken.
So Linda,
yes,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but Linda, can you answer it from a staff point?
Just what Amy has said is correct, that the funding went through the LTP for several years, and so we don't get an annual budget. They're not a CCO. The foundation is not a CCO, so I don't have that. I don't have an access to that sort of information.
So part of the trust agreement, as I understood it, was an annual process by which the foundation submitted a proposed annual budget, and staff by the end of May were to consider it and either approve or feedback.
Well, that hasn't been the process that's been followed.
Well, is that the correct process?
There's no problem in tabling a budget.
Yeah.
The trustees approved in principle the budget yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're more thinking from a staff point of view.
Yeah. So Schedule 1, in terms of support, I'm happy to quote what it says. The amount of support will be agreed upon by Council on an annual basis, following the submission by the Foundation of its proposed annual budget, cash flows and any other relevant documentation which Council reasonably requests to review. The Council will endeavour to report back to the Foundation by the end of May of each year with the intended amount of support for the following year, provided that the Foundation has provided all relevant documentation to Council within the agreed timeframe. So I would have thought for an annual report, what's really important is you actually look at what the proposed annual budget was and what was agreed, and then looked at that. So
First of all, I just should start by saying that the Foundation is not a CCO, so it hasn't been part of my work program to date. It was, when it was established, it came through the Office of the Chief Executive, who established it, right. And the funding was agreed in 2017 through papers to the Council, and it has then been, the budget was put through the LTP, and I can't talk to the whys and wherefores of that. It's only just come to me, and okay. So the process has been that it just has been through the LTP. Right. I haven't had any budgets on an annual basis, but the Foundation is offering to provide us.
We have, budget. But the process got slipped in the last year because it was right in the flurry of March 15, but we have provided annual budgets and are happy to do so.
Can I get, I put this question through the Office of C repeatedly. I'm a bit puzzled and confused. Can we maybe get something back that clarifies and kind of what the schedule of the agreement was, what's happened or not happened, and what we might need to do to improve it going forward so that we've got clarity?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Great. And there's also the review that I think Mary's sort of got someone to do as well. So is there anything you want to add to that, Mary?
No, we actually haven't identified an independent
person to do that as yet. But we are starting on it, and I have been in contact with Amy to let her know that we're moving it forward quickly now.
Yeah, because I think the plan was for it to be back in time for the annual plan sign-off.
That wasn't our understanding. We understood that the annual plans put an amount in at a reduced level, which we'd liaise with Amy about, and then the review was going to take place, but during the year. But we can certainly move that forward more quickly.
Yeah, that must be different to my recollection. That's
Sorry.
okay. All right, any other questions? No, I've just got a couple, and you know, really good report and stuff. Just in terms of, and I know Amy, you and I talk about this all the time, so it'd be no surprise. The sustainability of the foundation going long term. At what point does it become self-sufficient in terms of? Do you have a timeline? And I don't say that because I acknowledge exactly what you're doing, and you're doing a great job. But just I guess in terms of from the council's point of view, if we were to stop at the end of the next 3 years. Does that leave you in a really awkward position, or will you be comfortable at that point where you can run self-sufficiently by then?
We'd like to aim for that.
That's our intention,
Yeah.
to be self-sufficient.
Set it as a challenge, Chairman.
Oh yeah, well, it's, mine would probably be a lot more ambitious than that. But okay, so it is in your pipeline of work in terms of.
It's our priority.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and just the other one, and Humphrey, it was something you mentioned earlier on in terms of the UK setup and stuff,
Yeah.
and the money coming back. Has there been much money come back through so far, or is that sort of in the really early stages?
Early stages.
Yeah.
So-
Early stages.
So we're lodged as a UK entity. It took 9.5 months to get bank accounts. Things don't move fast over there. So we now have a legal entity, and we've lodged for charitable status.
Yep.
Once that happens, we can begin to do that. We've actually got some gifts lined up to facilitate to some other causes within the city, which we're doing as part of our surfers offering.
Yep.
But we can't do that till we get the charitable status, because we obviously want to get that additional top up from the Crown and make it even better for
definitely.
Christchurch. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yanni.
Can I just check, is Rata Foundation contributing anything to your OPEX? And if not, why not?
It's an interesting question.
Have you applied, or?
We don't,
No.
they're not, funding for operational overheads when we're fully funded by council would be a big ask for Rata. So it's a bit of a catch-22. So
Okay. I just recall when we were establishing it, the whole idea was a partnership with Rata.
we would
And I
like to
think
collaborate
Notahu.
very closely with them, and we've certainly done that on a project
Right.
basis. But we haven't gone through the process of looking at them funding them. I think it's a logical conversation to have.
Right. And just excuse my ignorance, but does Notahu appoint a trustee, or have they, is there any relationship with Notahu in terms
We've,
of being involved?
We've reached out on a number of occasions requesting that
Right.
and not had a response. So
Okay.
we'll continue to do that. We'd love Ngaitahu to be involved, and the door is most definitely open.
Great. Okay, thanks.
And so just the last one from me, in terms of the 600,000 each year, obviously you've taken the 10% reduction for the next year, which is great.
Yeah.
It'd be rude of me not to ask, is there any more fat in the system that we could save?
Candidly, to do that, we'd need to drop ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yep.
therefore we're not running at the same pace.
Okay.
So I think that's a decision that council needs to make on an informed basis.
Yeah.
Is that fair, Humphrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And just the last one, I guess, is going back to that sustainability thing long term. Do you see the funding over the coming years reducing from council, or
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
plan that we're working to.
yeah? So maybe that would be probably really useful in a briefing if we
We'd
can kind
really
of get
like
some.
to discuss that as part of the review process, to
Yeah.
look at what's working, what's not, and then look at a staged approach to reducing our funding from council. I mean, as you know, we're already looking at alternative ways to cover our operational overheads. That's always been our intention to do so. It's just at what pace.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else? I'm happy to move that we receive the report, and Jimmy's happy to second it. Any discussion?
It's just a little summary document as well, which just gives you the high level. I know we're not reporting at this point
Yep.
on the end of the final quarter, but I thought you'd like to get a feel for where we're at for the financial year. So since we launched...
Oh, sorry, Amy. We've already moved and seconded, so it's
Sorry.
yeah. So we're but if you want to circulate it,
It's already in your...
yeah, perfect. So that's fine. Hey, we'll put that to a vote. So all in favour say aye. Against? That's carried. Thank you both for coming in, and it'd be
Thanks,
good to
Sharon.
get a briefing on a lot of that stuff.
Oh, yeah, I'd love
Yep.
to. Thank
Really
you very
appreciate
much.
it. Cheers.
Thank you for your time.